Hello, Namaskar everyone, and Jai Hind. Welcome back to Gyanonymous School UGC NET Criminology Live. In our previous lecture, we understand one of the fundamental questions of criminology. We did actually understand that we addressed the question of what is crime. We discussed crime from legal, social, and psychological perspective. So in the UGC NET syllabus, actually today in unit 1 we will cover various themes like deviance and crime, about traditional crimes, about crime against property and person, crime against children, women, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or LGBTQ plus communities. We will discuss about crime against marginalized communities. Also, very neglected topic of crime against men. We will discuss about that. Also, we will be discussing on victimless crimes like alcoholism, drug addiction, beggary, or even about commercial sex and suicide. Then we will delve into family-centered crimes like dowry, like domestic violence, or maybe child abuse, community problems like inter-religion and inter-caste tensions. Also, we will be discussing on. So we will cover this all in the part 2 of lecture 1, or this is all from the unit 1 of UGC NET Criminology syllabus, particularly designed for you, so that you will be able to understand the core concepts of the syllabus of UGC NET Criminology. So let's begin today's lecture with some questions let's go with the question: is every crime a deviant act? Or if we alter the question, let's ask whether every deviant act is crime. So many students actually think both are the same, crime and deviance. They think both are the same, but in criminology, both are not same. Crime and deviant both are not same. Criminal act and deviant act, or crime and deviance, are not both the same in criminology. So once we understand this distinction, we will move on into different categories of crime, from traditional crime to victimless crime, or maybe family-centered crimes and community conflicts. So this lecture is extremely important for UGC NET basics and also for other university examinations, and anyone who wants to understand the changing nature of crime. So without wasting more time on the introduction, let's begin with deviance. So what is deviance? So before we understand crime, we must understand deviance, or we must understand deviance in this society. In every society there are certain expectation. There can be like, how should people behave in that society, what should people wear in that society, how should people speak in this society, how we would respect others in this society, or maybe what society considers acceptable or what is not. So even though there are certain conflicts of thoughts, or even conflicts of words regarding one particular thing, that we mentioned what we should wear, or like that. So even though there are at present there are lot more debate, or many people are there who says my wearing or my dress is my choice. But yes, your dress is your choice, but dress is with respect to the society. Like, you cannot go to a formal meeting wearing a half trouser and wearing a t-shirt. Like, we are also live in a society. We can go outside to a formal place wearing bunions, or like that. So there is certain dress code in society. This is fabric of society. So if you like to wear something else, you can move to other societies where it is actually acceptable. Moving ahead with clothes, so all these expectations, from what we wear to what we speak, or how should we behave, or what is socially acceptable, these expectations, actually what they are called social norms. So whenever a person violates such social norms, we call it deviance. Okay, so let's go back with the controversial theme of wedding. So like, if you are going to university, or going to a school where there is a strictly discipline, where there are strict disciplines of wearing uniform, let's say white shirt and blue pant with a tie and black shoes, but you are going wearing a white t-shirt and maybe a black pant and loafers, not black leather shoes. So this is not crime. This will be an act of deviance. So just for wearing that, you will be not termed as criminal. It's just an act of deviance. So therefore, so this is just an example. Okay, therefore deviance, what it means, it simply means that behavior that violates social norms. So it's simple deviance. If you go and you build up such an habit that you go on shouting on the streets, whoever there, now whom stranger maybe, you go and shout on the streets. Just you approach someone, even if you know your acquaintances, if you want to say hey, you just say in a big voice like, hi, hello, how are you? Like, if you do it with everyone, you will not be labeled as criminal, or you will not be treated as criminal as per law, but it violates certain social norms of how we normally speak with each other. So it will be an deviant act of yours. So deviance, it simply means which breaks or which violates the prevailing social norms. So here one careful thing to observe, in deviance, I didn't say that it violates law. Deviance may not violate law or may violate law, but there is no certainty that deviance act violates laws. But what I said, that it violates social norms. As we are social animals, we human beings, wherever we live, we may live in London, New York, Australia, Africa, South Sudan, maybe North Korea, or maybe in India, but in every society, whatever their traditional, transitional, agrarian, industrial, or whatever society it may be, there are some societal fabrics. So there are some societal norms. So if someone violates or someone go against such norms, it will be called an deviance. So that's the biggest difference between deviance and crime. Crime actually violates the law, and deviance, it violates the social norms. So there are difference between laws and social norms, there can be there are also a difference between social norms and what is right or wrong according to law. Similarly, there is difference between deviance and crime. Another example I can give, if you are going to a temple, let's say you are going to a temple, but you are going wearing very short sleeve clothes, which is not like whatever you are wearing or you should wear in a beach, or you should wear in the beach. You are going to or you attempt to go to a temple wearing in dissimilar clothes, or such clothes that you should wear in the beach. So this is not against the law, but this is against the social norm. Okay, you cannot go to a temple, you cannot go to a church wearing something which is actually designed to wear in a swimming pool, or which is designed to wear in a beach. So you should go wearing something very acceptable to the temple or to the church. So this is all social norms. So this is the biggest difference. so uh, So if we go from deviance to crime, we have already done what is crime. We already understand what is crime. It's completely different. It violates law enacted by state. In crime, there is actually violation of law. As we have already discussed in part 1 of this lecture, to be a crime, there must be a law. Okay, so whenever an act is prohibited by criminal law and is punished by state, it becomes a crime. To be any act to be a crime, there must be a law who prohibits it, and there should be a punishment for it. Okay, crime examples can be murder, theft, robbery, rape, kidnapping, maybe cyber fraud, corruption. You know that all. So all these that violates criminal law, and they all have punishment according to law in any or every civilized society. So therefore every crime is generally considered deviant act because it violates both law and social norms. What I said? I said that every crime is generally considered deviant act because it violates law and social norms. So simply every crime is deviance. Now, do you think that every deviant act is a crime? No. This is the most important point of today's lecture, that every deviant act is not crime. You can think of like this. Imagine two circles. One is large circle representing the deviance, and another is the inside circle which lies inside that big circle. There lies a small circle. Let's say it's a Venn diagram, and it is called crime. The large circle is deviance, whatever is not acceptable by social norms, and the inner circle is crime, whatever is against the law and whatever is punishable as according to law. So all crimes are deviant, but all deviant act may not be crime. So let's go with the various types of deviance. Criminology actually classifies deviance in different ways. There can be some positive deviance, like people violate social norms for a good cause, so they are called positive deviance. For example, our freedom fighters under colonial rule, they just fought against social norms and prevailing norms, like to wear khadi and to boycott the British clothing system. So even though it came as deviance, but it came as positive deviance. There can be positive deviance examples with like whistle blowers. There can be whistle blowers who exposes crime. There can be some social reformers who challenge discriminations, like Raja Ram Mohan Rai and etc. They were great reformers of India in various themes. They reformed various sectors of the society, so they were challenging certain prevailing social norms, or sometimes such norms were even superstitious. So they were social reformers who brought into positive deviance activities and thus changing the society. So initially such positive deviance may be rejected by the society. However, in long run, the history celebrates them. Like for the example of social reformers from Plato to Raja Ram Mohan Rai, to whistleblowers, or maybe even freedom fighters, like in the example of this Khadi Andolan of Mahatma Gandhi. So that's what is positive deviance. And what is negative deviance? This includes harmful behaviors which are actually harmful for the society in a black and white look, like violence, drug abuse, maybe fraud, sexual offense, or maybe organized crime. These are deviance as well as even crimes. So these behaviors actually threaten social order. If you are arguing with someone for no reason, because you develop such a habit of arguing with everyone, maybe in a bus, maybe in a public place, so this is negative deviance. This will not lead to any societal reform. So you are not leading to anything where people will be behaving with each other, talking to each other in a loud voice. So you are not going to reform society in this way. So this is a negative deviance, and you are a deviant person if you are behaving like that. So that is what deviance is, and that is what crime is. Just simply, deviance is the big circle or big brother, and crime is small brother. Deviance is what breaks the social norms, and crime is what breaks criminal laws by the society and which is punishable. So let's move to our other theme, to traditional crime. Traditional crime actually divided into two parts. One is crime against property, and one is crime against person. So let's come to the crime against property. Property crimes actually involve unlawful interference with other person's property. It can be like theft. You are stealing someone else's property. This is theft. Burglary, if you are going and just by showing force you are trying to bring something, some other's property, like say from a shop, it will be a crime or crime against property. There can be robbery, extortion, maybe criminal breach of trust. There can be cheating, or even vehicle thefts, or maybe present day cyber thefts. So these crimes usually aim at unlawful economic gain. Crime against property are mostly for unlawful economic gain, but there can be some other varieties also, like for revenge and for emotional satisfaction also. So it depends, but mostly it comes for economic gain. Let's go to the another theme of crime against person. These crimes actually directly affects individuals. It can be like murder, or maybe attempt to murder, assault, kidnapping, or a lawful confinement of some other person. It can be rape, or maybe in like 10 years back or 15 years back, there were more acid attacks against women mainly. So these are crime against persons. Human trafficking also can be grievous hurt. We will know what is grievous hurt in other parts of our lectures of criminology, UGC NET Criminology live lectures. What is grievous hurt, or how we define grievous hurt. So this is also a type of crime against persons. So crime actually affects women, children, men, and as in the syllabus, LGBTQ plus communities. Against there are crime against marginalized communities, which falls actually all under crime against person, though may they involve specific legal provisions. Like if you are committing crime against women, they come with various other sections. Then you are committing the same crime with his children. In that case, most of it may come, particularly if going with sexual violence, it will go under POSCO Act. So let's go go with the theme of crime against children. Crime against children. What can be the crime against children? Can you think about it? Simple. Like you read in the newspaper, there are a lot more child were rescued, where people are engaging them in child labor. So child labor is a crime. Child trafficking is a crime. Child sexual abuse is a crime. Child pornography is a heinous crime. When child marriage is a crime, or maybe online grooming is also a crime. So these are crimes against children, and various laws are there. which prohibit them, and particularly the POSCO Act, about which we will learn in details in other units. The POSCO Act is of very much importance, which deal with sexual offenses against the child. So this is what crime against children. If we move against crime against women, what can be? Crime against women we often find in TV or newspaper or our news feeds, like there are various deaths or assault related to dowry harassment, maybe sexual assault, acid attack, which is actually came down in present time, a good sign of the society, but let's say 15 years back or 10 years back, it was a huge problem for the society. Stalking, voyeurism, domestic violence, or trafficking, these are actually crime against women. So there are various sections of stalking or voyeurism. So we will learn about what is stalking, what is voyeurism or sexual assault. These are all crime against women, and we will learn about them in details with various Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita or BNS provisions. Let's move ahead with another theme, crime against men. Although public discussions often focuses on actually on women and children, they are most focused or particularly handled the crime against women or children. Men also become victims. They become victim of homicide, of assault, extortion, trafficking, even workforce violence, etc. So criminology examines victimization across all genders. It is not that criminology deals with women specially or children specially. Yes, they do deal with women and children with some special laws because they are more vulnerable. They are more vulnerable persons in the society, including the elderly persons. So they may be treated with special laws, but the laws which are general, which are for men or general public, they also are equally important and equally effective. Whatever abuse against men comes, they are just not neglected. They are equally given importance by the criminal justice system. Coming against crime affecting LGBTQ plus communities, members of LGBTQ plus communities may actually face violence. They do face intimidation, harassment, or maybe hate motivated offenses, various comments, or maybe sexual violence, and definitely they have been facing discrimination from the society for long term, from various years. How can I say, from the history, this community has been facing discrimination from the society, whatever we call it, a social norm, social fabric, or I'm not a sociologist, but let me tell you one thing, that this community, I have seen firsthand, this community has been facing discrimination in any and every society in the world. So criminologists actually study these patterns to understand vulnerability, to understand reporting barriers, to understand access to justice, to bring on equality to LGBTQ plus communities. So this is all about crime against LGBTQ plus communities. Let's move ahead with crime against marginalized community. What is marginalized groups? Marginalized groups can be including, there can be peoples with disadvantaged, which can be disadvantaged by caste, by geography, by tribe, by even disability or socioeconomic status. With geography, maybe some people living in minority, but as a minority tribe living in atop hills or in such remote places, who don't want to actually come out of that space, but they live in a completely different social fabric. They do have their own custom, own social norms, but they may be actually marginalized when they come out of that society. They may not be able to cope up with our social norms in various situations. So these are groups called vulnerable or called marginalized groups. They can be with various tribes, maybe persons with disability, or maybe in India we call them from various castes also. So they may be victimized due to their socioeconomic status. Many may experience actually targeted violence, maybe exploitation, and definitely they do face discrimination. We have seen in the history they do face trafficking because they are mostly unknown about the ongoing in the mainstream society, and they are forced to bounded labor or maybe head-based offenses. So this pattern actually highlights the intersection of crime with what I can say structural inequality. So this is what crime against marginalized community. So as we have gone with crime against various persons, from LGBTQ to women to children to men to marginalized communities, let's move ahead to another type of crime, that is victimless crime. What crime can be like where there is no victim? This is most debated concept, or one of the most debated concept in criminology about the victimless crimes. So just the basic question: can there be a crime where there is no victim, or can there be crime without a victim even? So yes, there are some crimes that seems to have no victim, or there is actually no victim. So actually criminologists try to define them as victimless crimes. They can be like alcohol abuse. If you are drinking alcohol in a way that it become abusive for the society, but there is no primary victim from your abuse. You are doing the act, and you yourself is the victim. Okay, you are destroying yourself by drinking alcohol. So there is no primary victim from this. If you are actually single person, not a family person, let's go with a situation, and you have no one to care about, and you are drinking alcohol like hell. Okay, so in that case you are not harming anyone except you. So you are the perpetrator of the act, and you are the victim. So there is no other victim. There can be similarly drug addiction, maybe beggary, also a type of victimless crime. You are doing crime, begging something, but who is the victim of the crime? No one. If someone likes someone, he or she will give you something, but he is also not victim. So there can be like commercial sex, where someone offers sex for monetary compensation, not compensation, for monetary exchange. But here is also there is no victim, but it is actually prohibited by law, therefore it is a crime, but in that case there is no victim. Other things like suicide attempt, which was actually criminalized before BNS came into effect, but now BNS prohibits attempted suicide from any criminal provisions. Just people who attempts such thing, like attempt suicide, he or she should be treated with more psychological counseling, or he should be treated with more humane manner than before. So attempted suicide is also a victimless crime as per modern BNS, or Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So what is the idea behind the term victimless crime? It is that these acts often involve consenting adults or maybe primarily affect the individual engaging them. So here actually the victim, the affected person is the one who is engaging. If you are attempting suicide, you are not doing anything wrong. I mean, you are harming yourself. You are not doing anything to other. From a legal point of view, if you are attempting to suicide, from a legal point of view, you are harming yourself. So you are affecting yourself. You are not affecting anyone else. So there is no victim from legal point of view. Therefore, it is a victimless crime. Similarly, other things like other stuffs like beggary, drug addiction, alcoholism, or maybe commercial sex. But we can say that this concept of victimless crime is very much controversial. For instance, there can be secondary victim or secondary act which may lead to violence, like alcohol addiction. It can be like, it can actually lead to domestic violence or social disobedience even. Maybe drug addiction, which may lead to increase in theft activities. Commercial sex, which may actually lead to human trafficking and maybe exploitation of women or exploitation of vulnerable groups. So therefore many criminologists actually argue that these are often, there are often some indirect victims or secondary victims out of these victimless crimes also. So this is why the expression victimless crime should be understood as an analytical category rather than an absolute truth. So victimless crime is not something like very absolute term. There is no victim. If someone is attempting to suicide, there will be some actually secondary victims or tertiary victims, his family members or his acquaintances or the society who will get impacted by his act. They are social victims or even some mass victims also. So the term victimless crime is not very absolute truth. It is just a relative term and it is just a concept. So we can just think it as an analytical category of criminology. So this is what victimless crime. So what we will do, let's move ahead to another crime, that is family-centered crime. It is actually the family is expected to be the safest institution in the society. Family is designed to be and expected to be the safe of the safest institution in the society. Whatever happens, people come to the society. Why? Also, people come to the family, whatever good or bad. People always return home, because family is expected to be the safest institution. But unfortunately many serious crimes happen within the society, within the family actually. It can be like dowry related offenses, maybe domestic violence, also unfortunately child abuse, marital cruelty between men and women due to marriage. There can be neglect of elderly family members, incest, maybe forced marriages. So these are actually crimes which originate and which impact family. We call them family-centered crime. So the one characteristic of family-centered crime is that family-centered crime often remain very much hidden, because the victim of the family-centered crime, he or she faces stigma. He or she are dependent. He or she faces social pressure to expose them. Like if someone is going on a forced marriage, someone is marrying of her or his daughter without his or her consent, it is a family-centered crime. But the victim, she fears various stigma. She may be dependent to the family, and there are even social pressure not to reveal, not to go against the society. not to go against the family in front of the society, so that there are respect of that family in that society. So various factors involved, which so for what most of the family crimes or family centered crimes remain actually hidden. So it can even happen with domestic violence and dowry related offenses. So this is what family-centered crime, which is very much of importance in present-day nuclear families also. Let's go with other community problems. So what is community problem? Crime, as we have learned, it doesn't only involve only individuals, not only involve with properties. It sometimes maybe entire community can be involved in a crime, or the impact of crime may impact the entire community. There can be like various inter-religious tensions that we have seen in history, various religious riots or communal violence. There can be inter-caste conflicts. We have seen inter-caste conflicts in India, particularly in states like UP, Bihar, and in some cases in Haryana also. There are like inter-caste conflicts, and in Bihar and UP we have seen that historically in the 90s into the in a very next level we have seen such inter-caste conflicts. But fortunately, due to improvement in law and order or people's education, it is coming down very much in present state. There can be communal riots also, and it is of very much problem, or it is very much of concern. The communal riots of very much concern. It comes from various rhetorics, including political rhetorics also. It can be due to belief also, or it can be due to intolerance also. So communal riots is very much as India is a various is very much diverse societies. So communal riot is a matter of very much concerns in societies like India. There can be various collective violence. There can be like mob violence, or in present day social media as rumor driven violence is of very much important. Someone can spread any kind of rumor or a AI made video spreading misinformation, which may even lead to violence. We have seen that videos of West Bengal, video of Bangladesh, are whatever happening in Bangladesh, it is circulated in West Bengal, since they speak the same or similar languages, and people, most of the people think that yeah, this is happening in our state in West Bengal, so we should go against it. So people don't try to find the absolute truth. Most people just see that whatever they see in their mobile phone, or in WhatsApp, Facebook, they assume it to be truth, since someone is speaking about it in a very confident way. So they just go, they just don't think what may be behind it. So this is how rumor spreads, this is how misinformation spreads, and which can lead to violence. There can be hate speech. Hate speech can be even political driven also. So these all are what we term as community problems, or which may lead to various community led crimes also. So such conflicts are actually influenced by historical grievances, maybe due to identity politics, and definitely in today's time, misinformation or economic inequality, maybe polarization in the society. So for criminologists, preventing these conflicts, it requires not only effective law enforcement, but it also requires dialogue. It also requires community policing. It requires education and social cohesion. So here is community policing, education, social cohesion is very important, particularly community policing, since we are student of police administration, I will try to make a detailed video live for community policing. I actually don't like to make videos because the video editing stuff is much more time consuming. I don't have that much time to edit videos. I don't have any employees to edit videos for me. So maybe in sometime later I will make such videos, but if I want, maybe I can if you want, I will make a video on community policing in detail. I will make a live video on community policing in detail, maybe 15 or 20 minutes of duration. So I will be discussing about in details what is community policing in various countries, how it evolves, and how community policing in countries like Japan, in countries like Singapore, or even United States, how it has evolved, and how it impacted the society in general, how it prevented crime, like examples with the Koban system, COBAN, the Koban system in Japan, the NPP, that is neighborhood policing post in Singapore, or there is COPS in United States, that's community oriented policing service. And India also, there is various community policing initiatives in India. So very much examples of community policing in India, from Manipur to West Bengal to Maharashtra to Gujarat. Every state has various community police units. I will not take the names because they are so nice, so beautiful, but we need to focus more on them. We need to empower more on community policing. So that is what community policing is. So we must empower them, community policing, education and social cohesion, etc., so that community problems do not happen, or community violence and crimes led by communities or involving communities as a whole doesn't happen. So that's what today's lecture is. Today we have covered very significant portion of Unit 1 of UGC NET Criminology. We have learned that deviance is a broader than crime. We have learned that deviance is the big brother and crime is the small brother circle. So we learned that every crime is generally a deviant act, but not every deviant act may be a crime. We learned that traditional crimes, they may include offenses against property and offenses against persons. There are victimless crimes, which remain one of the most debated areas of criminology. However, we must remember that victimless crime is not an absolute term, rather than it is just a relative area of study in criminology. We have learned about family-centered crimes, where the victimization often occurs within home or within the family. Lastly, we learned about community conflicts, which demonstrate actually how crime can emerge from various broader social divisions. So in our next lectures, we will move to other topic of we will try to finish the in part 3 we will try to finish the Unit 1 of UGC NET Criminology. We will cover modern crimes, including organized crime, economic crime, corruption. We will go with corporate crime, environmental crime. We will particularly look into hate crimes, also with cybercrime, terrorism, insurgency, crime against politics. We'll go into media and technology and crime, also transnational crime. That is, we will go very deep into the depth of criminology. So if you find part 2 of this UGC NET Criminology Unit 1 live lecture very useful, please like the video and subscribe to Gyanonymous School, and share it to follow for UGC NET Criminology knowledge. And thank you for watching. If you have any question, please comment in the below and I will try to answer them. Thank you for joining today's live class, and see you in the part 3 of Criminology live lecture unit 1. Thank you. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.